Hey, how's it going? I think you might be muted.
Totally.
All
Yep.
good,
Hi.
all good. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well. Where are you calling in from? Where out in the world?
I'm in New York.
New York.
Yeah,
Okay,
New York City.
nice.
So if you hear, there's like a whole street fair going on
All
right
good,
now.
all good. I'm
That's
down in
where I live.
Miami as well, so it's always loud if you hear anything. That's probably
Yes.
why.
Yeah.
But appreciate you joining. I know we were speaking a little bit back and forth. Sent over a
Yes.
few videos, resources initially. I know you purchased Jumpstart as well. If you were able to go through some of that, what's that kind of look like? Were you able to watch the videos, go through Jumpstart at all?
Yeah, I was able to go through the videos that I
Okay.
had purchased as well as the videos that you had sent me,
Yeah.
and watching even some of the people who have worked for you guys for
For
years
sure.
who are now, helping other people out. So I heard their stories as well, and I feel like I got a good grasp on kind of the program
Yeah.
and what it is that you guys all do. And I actually have reached out to like over 40 people.
Nice.
So I've started that outreach and created like a whole spreadsheet for myself, going off of like the outreach framework,
Okay.
the three different parts.
Yeah.
I've only had like six people respond.
Okay.
One was like kind of a dead end, I guess, but
Okay.
I that's like another question. I have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Um, but then I had four people that I sent like the part two
Mhm.
outreach to that did not respond. And I sent them like an additional message a few days after,
Yeah. For sure.
just to kind of check in with them. And then there's one other person that actually seems really
Yeah.
interested.
Good stuff.
Um,
Good stuff. And just kind of
that
looking here, I believe you purchased Jumpstart within the last week or so. Is that like the first time you came across copywriting, or do you have like other copywriting experience beforehand?
Yeah, so I no, this is my first time
Okay.
getting into copywriting.
Yeah.
I kept getting Cardinal Mace's like videos, like even now, like after even purchasing it, they keep popping up on my social media.
Hmm.
Um and I'm a freelance artist at the moment,
Okay.
so I like work on a gig to gig basis, but in New York City it's just been stressing me out.
Yeah.
Because like as a dancer, like you need to have like a side hustle that's like a
Yeah.
more consistent
Hmm.
income, because you never know like how much you're going to get paid
Of
on
course.
each gig and that sort of thing. But my issue that I've been running into is that like the side hustles that I have or have had, I've had to like quit
Hmm.
because I'll get a gig and then it doesn't work with my schedule. So I was looking for something
Yeah.
online that could be flexible with my weird crazy
No,
schedule.
absolutely. And as far as like not wanting to get, anything lost in translation, is that kind of like the main goal, or what's like the specific outcome you're looking for in terms of like the inner circle and copywriting as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, after hearing like what is possible, like I absolutely like want to make as much money as
Yeah.
possible. Because like I have a lot of dreams. I'm, very ambitious. Just
What dreams does
actually,
Macy have?
well, just like for my dance and performative career, like
Yeah.
you know, would love to like be on Broadway, and I'm in the middle of like auditioning for some commercials and stuff, which would be big deals at the end of it if I got
Okay.
them, but it's just a long process.
Yeah.
And I like want to create my own like dance company and things one day, but you can't really chase dreams without finances.
Yeah.
So,
For sure.
and this kind of fits kind of into what I like to do
Hmm.
anyways, the creative aspect, and I've always enjoyed writing. And
100%.
so, it kind of just fit perfectly,
Yeah.
and I could see myself kind of juggling them
Yeah. And
both.
as far as the dance, I apologize. I'm
Mhm.
not too familiar with that side of the
Totally
world.
okay.
Are you like traveling for like competitions and stuff? Is it more so like one-off projects, or like how long you been doing that for?
Yeah, so I graduated from Chapman in 2024,
Okay.
and so I this is my second year post grad. So I moved to New York from California,
Okay.
and I guess yeah, it's just a gig to gig basis.
Hmm.
So I'm currently training with a dance company that I'm in the middle of like kind of joining, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. And so we have like weekly classes, and I have like three shows next weekend for
Hmm.
like different performances. So, things can kind of get dry or whatever,
Yeah.
but or like my agent will send me like random things. I'm in the callbacks right now for a
Yeah.
Coke commercial,
Okay.
so it's kind of funny because like I'm on the other side of it of like wanting like being in the ads,
Yeah.
and so like
Rather than like creating them. Yeah.
understanding actually how to like I think I don't know, it would just I understand what they're
Yeah.
wanting and like how to sell myself, I guess,
Hmm.
like in my current industry. So
Yeah.
that's yeah,
Okay. And I
tough.
speak with many different students as well. I don't want to assume anything. I'm
Yeah.
sure you wouldn't just give up kind of the dance and like those obviously down the line and make this your full time thing. It'd more so be like use this income initially as like a side hustle, scale it to where it can also fund
Mhm.
like the longer term goal of opening up your own thing as
Yes.
well. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. And I'm a very hard worker. Like
Yeah.
I will work 12 hours a day
Hmm.
or more. So I'm used to the grind. And like if I could make it a full-time thing, depending on my, dance schedule, each week is different.
Hmm.
And it just
For sure.
is dependent on what I'm doing. Because I think this could be like a, you know, more of a full, like not full time, but
Yeah.
not half time,
Yeah.
or part time,
Absolutely.
So
And with
yeah,
that, the main motivation does seem like the finance side of things. What
yeah.
is it you bring in now on like an average month? I'm sure it kind of fluctuates depending on like projects and everything.
Yeah, I'd say like average probably like 2K,
Okay.
unfortunately, which
Huh.
is not doesn't go far in New York.
Yeah, right around 2K. And I
Yeah.
mean, typically one client from like a copywriting standpoint is right around like 2 to 3K. Now, what would
Yeah.
like the longer term goal be with something like this? What would we want to make on the, side for say full-time thing to obviously, make more money for ourselves?
Yeah, I think bare minimum would be like, I would love to get to like 10K.
Yeah.
Like that would be more than comfortable like
Mhm.
for me, but I would love to obviously make more than that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because yeah,
Yeah. And you
not only can
mentioned
I pay for
10.
myself but others.
Yeah, you mentioned 10K would be comfortable. Comfortable in like what sense?
Just like I think not being like financially like stressed, like that's like more
Okay.
than enough than like what I need right now.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I tried to not spend money. Like
Hmm.
that's just always how I've been. Even like when I was making more than enough
Yeah.
in college, working 3 jobs on top of being a
Yeah.
full-time student, so that's why I was like, I can manage more than,
Yeah, for sure.
uh,
How
yeah.
long have we had almost like that, financial instability or that stress has been on our shoulders where we've needed to work like 3 jobs or we haven't had the income we need to, kind of relieve ourselves of that?
I think, well, it kind of initiated in college.
Okay.
I'm originally from Kansas, and so going out to LA for
Yeah.
school
A little bit of a
and being
change.
around, it's so different. It was a
Yeah,
culture shock completely,
for sure.
and the people I was going to school with just like spent money like I had never seen in my life.
Yep.
And it just, I didn't have enough money at the time to be like, paying for school and
Hmm.
staying there and pay for like California gas
Yeah.
at the time and, groceries and stuff. And so I was working 3 jobs
Okay.
to not only support myself, but to save money, knowing
Hmm.
that I wanted to move to New York.
Okay.
And then my first year, I've hit the year mark in New York and I've spent all of my savings. And so that I think is what's, stressing me out is
Okay.
that like
For sure.
yeah,
Yeah. And you
need,
mentioned since college. How old are you now,
yeah.
if it doesn't offend you?
I'm 23.
Okay, so the last 2, 3 years, it sounds like, as far
Yeah.
as kind of like that financial stress. Now, I know you
Mhm.
mentioned a few different things as far as like side hustles. What else have you tried in the last 2, 3 years to get to like the 10K months, take that stress off our shoulders, and have more of that stability as well?
Yeah. I mean, I teach dance,
Okay.
which pays pretty well. That's what I was doing. I was teaching at like multiple studios, setting choreography.
Hmm.
I have like hosted different events and like dance intensives and stuff,
Yep.
which are cool. But starting out, you're like, breaking even
For
when
sure.
creating intensives and businesses and things like that, especially in the dance world. And so, um, yeah, I guess that's kind of
Okay. When did you
what
try
I'm
that?
doing and what.
When did you try that? Sorry.
When did I try what
Like
the
the
just
teaching dance.
teaching?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been teaching dance like since like I was in high school.
Okay.
And in New York, I mean, it's pretty decent, like rates depending on where you're teaching.
Hmm.
I was also teaching for like an after school dance program in the
Yep.
public schools here, nannying,
Yep.
babysitting,
Hmm.
that sort of thing. And
Okay.
so,
And
but once again, it's
yeah,
hard because like I'll have an audition come up or something, and I'm like,
yeah,
then I have to choose one or the other. And I'm like, I initially moved out here to pursue dance,
of
not
course.
to watch other people's children, you know?
No, you didn't sign up for daycare, it sounds like.
Yeah.
But is that something you're still like actively doing, or did you more kind of put that to the
Yes.
side now?
No, it's something I'm still actively doing as well as like auditioning and stuff. So that's the other thing is like I'm juggling too many things that I'm like, if I could just focus on my career and just focus on copywriting,
Yeah,
then like
absolutely.
I would set instead of trying to do a million different little
Hmm.
things to make ends meet.
For sure. And even outside of like copywriting, what do you feel like prevented yourself the last 2, 3 years as far as like getting into the online business side of things to obviously have that more autonomy, but then get to like the 10K months additional income too?
Yeah. I guess I didn't know what opportunities were out there, like being a creative and being, a dancer. Like I am used to trading my time for money.
Hmm.
And I got like my BFA in dance
Okay.
performance and a minor in musical theater. And
Yeah.
so like it's hard to find, just an online business that would, want to necessarily,
Yeah.
I don't know, that would be a
For
good
sure.
fit. And
Yeah.
I think that this was the one that I, could see myself fitting into.
Hmm.
Not only because of the creative writing aspect, but because of the training and the
Yeah.
tools that are,
Of course. And it
given.
sounds like when you say be more of a good fit, because obviously there's a beautiful tool out there called Google, right?
Oh,
We could,
absolutely.
search, best ways to make money online in
Yeah.
2025, 2024, 2023. It more so sounds like as if we did try something, like will it
Mhm.
provide us with the right, time, financial flexibility, almost more so like the uncertainty side of things if we do try something. Is that fair to say?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, with that, like the right fit, I'd be lying to you if I said like every single business model doesn't work out there. Right. But,
Right.
how do we find if something's the right fit? We try. Right.
Mhm.
Because how
Yeah.
will we ever know if we never do take that first step?
Mhm.
We won't. Right.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, even out there, like you could try any single thing. There's like 13, 14-year-olds making money online with the craziest
Mhm.
ideas you never even would have thought possible the last like
Mhm.
5, 10 years. But like when we look at the uncertainty side of things, there's always like two types of people. Even Elon Musk said it. I agree with him myself. It's like, there's those that obviously have never tried anything new, allow the uncertainty as a
Mhm.
reason to consume them so they don't try anything at all, or those that manage a way to push past that, right? Give the full
Mhm.
level of commitment to become the guarantee themselves. Who do you feel gets
Mhm.
the results and outcomes they're truly looking for?
Mhm.
Right. That second
Yeah.
person. Because if we allow, the uncertainty as a reason not to look, not to try anything and never push past that to actually fully commit, like where do you feel like that's going to leave us?
Yeah. You're not going anywhere,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, and I'm just at a point where I'm, ready to try something
Mhm.
new.
Yeah. And I guess what shifted now that has us ready and willing to, push past that uncertainty and make the commitment we need to not only have the time freedom, but more of that financial flexibility as well. Because we don't have to.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess I just hit a point where I was like, I'm, tired of trading like my time
Yeah.
for money and not being able to actually fulfill the opportunities that I came out here to do,
Hmm.
because I'm, nannying or,
Yeah.
trying to get a job at a restaurant, and so I just, yeah,
Yeah.
needed something that was more functional. And then this happened to kind of
For
come
sure.
across my page, and I started looking into it more and was like, this seems amazing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
because when speaking with students, there's always like an internal why is to them like
yeah.
putting in the time, putting the effort, making that commitment for themselves. After
Mhm.
the last 2, 3 years, what would you say that is for you? I'm curious.
I'd say just a lifestyle change. And I guess having my efforts be matched like my worth,
Hmm.
and, that coming like financially too, if that makes sense. Yeah, because I mean, even when I was living in California, it was like I would be at school from like 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then I'd go and I would teach all night. And then I'd have to go back to campus for like another rehearsal,
Yeah.
10 to 12 or something. And so, yeah, it was a grind. And even here in the city, it's a grind, like the auditions and
course.
rehearsals. And like there's something every single day. I don't ever get like a weekend
Mhm.
really off unless I like choose to take a day off. Yeah, so I just, needed something that like I can do that I also, enjoy. And I have already like enjoyed
Yeah,
getting into it a little bit. And so
for sure.
um,
Because
I'm
once we
excited.
obviously, yeah, we push past the uncertainty and make the commitment, right? And we're
Mhm.
making like 10, 15K a month. We have the
Yeah.
time, flexibility, autonomy, take that stress off our shoulders as well.
Yeah.
Like after 2, 3 years, what do you feel like actually changes? Or what does life look like at that point for ourselves?
Like after I'm
Yeah.
making that much, I think I would feel a lot, a lot calmer.
Mhm.
And, I think, I don't know. I just like wouldn't, I keep trying to think about it, but it's like,
Yeah.
it's hard to even imagine right
Mhm.
now, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
because of just like I've been in the trenches
Mhm.
grinding so much that to like have that be a reality would completely like
Yeah.
shift my
And
whole
it,
life. And I
yeah.
would be able to like get into the rooms that I want to get
Mhm.
into. And, because a lot of the opportunities here, you have to pay for, certain workshops with certain choreographers and things like that. And so it's like, I haven't been able to do that or go take as many classes as I want each week
Yeah.
because, I financially can only
Of
take
course.
this many classes each week. And so I think it would just, I would feel so like so much freer
Yeah.
and being able to actually like go buy a plane ticket and fly home to see my family whenever I want.
For sure.
Stuff like that. And, I have a niece and a nephew on the way. And
Yeah.
so just like knowing that I can also make income from anywhere
Mhm. Yeah.
is
And I mean,
also
like
incredible.
stepping into those shoes, obviously it's always hard to think about until
Mhm.
we're actually there, but that's the importance of it, like knowing it's possible, like
Right.
knowing we can make it happen. Because like once
Yeah.
we get to that position, like let alone for ourselves, like making the money we want to make, all those things, like
Yeah.
how empowering and fulfilling do you feel it'll actually be after all this time, not only for ourselves, but being able to see like our family and friends as well?
I mean, I think it would be a huge shift. And I think it's the amount of respect I would gain
Hmm.
too, just as a human or like person, I think
Yeah.
would change a lot of things. Cause
Right.
I've gotten a lot of crap my whole life
Okay.
of like, oh, like, performers don't make that much money
Hmm.
until like you really make it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm grinding every day and I'm on my way, but it's hard to know like when you're gonna make it. Like some dancers, it takes them like 5 years of working and networking in New
Hmm.
York City until they get like their big job and then
Yeah.
they're on Broadway for 15 plus
Of
years,
course.
and so it's just a hard industry to like get into. And then
Yeah.
once you're in it, you're,
Yeah. And it's the same way
so,
I put it to everybody as well. It's like, it's the same thing as far as online business because it's like
yeah,
everybody thinks it's like so risky in a sense, right? And it's
right.
like those people are just saying that because they don't have enough courage to actually try for themselves, right? Because
Yes,
like once you
exactly.
get to the position, even myself, it's like when I first
Mhm.
initially like transitioned from my 9 to 5, everybody was like, what are you doing? This isn't going to work. Like, what is
Right.
this? What is that? And now the
Yeah.
whole mindset shifted like, how can I do it? How can I get involved?
Right.
Teach me how what
And
you did, right? So it's like kind of that personality and like mindset shift that actually
right.
gets us to where we want to go. Cause like the opposite end is we never, try anything at all, right? We never fully
Yeah.
commit. We never, overcome that uncertainty. And we let the last 2, 3 years look the exact same 2, 3 years from now. Where do you feel like
Right.
we'd be at then?
Well, yeah, and sorry, going back and going off of what you were
Yeah,
just saying, I think that even like with my family, like I would love to be able to be like, yeah, I'm fully supporting
for
myself
sure.
and, creating these opportunities and able to like gift you guys these things in return for like your support and my, progress all these years, but also being able to like support myself in my dreams,
Hmm.
I think would just shift my whole life and my whole perspective because I think that also it would shift my perspective on even my dance journey because I'm not focused on I have to book this job like right or else like
For
I'm
sure.
not going to make rents like whatever so I think that this is something that'll just shift
No,
my whole
absolutely.
life.
Because that's honestly like my favorite question, most important question for everyone is like,
Mhm.
after the last 2, 3 years, do we feel like we're finally ready to, put an end to that? Like draw a line in the sand, say enough's enough as to where we overcome that uncertainty and make the commitment we need, not only get to like the 10K months and have that time freedom for ourselves,
Mhm.
but then also be able to, spend time and provide for others around us as well. Because that's the most important part.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
And I mean, with that as well, I know you mentioned kind of going through Jumpstart in and of itself, as far as doing
Mhm.
some outreach. Where do you feel like initially you need the most help or support from in order to actually get to these outcomes we're looking for?
I guess like getting clients
Yeah.
and getting people to respond. I think that I kind of paused once you guys had reached out to me to schedule the call because and there's one person who's like, this seems like the perfect time, is like what she even responded in
Yeah.
the email, because she was like, I'm not doing this, but I want to be careful because it's I don't want to lie, but I also want to sound like I have experience so that way
Yeah.
I can get the client, and so I guess just the script of, how to speak as if you have experience without, lying, or, because I'm like, nobody wants to be like
Mhm.
a $1,500 like guinea
Yeah.
pig,
No.
and being like, this
Mhm.
is your first time doing
For
this type
sure.
of thing. So I guess just getting myself to that point, learning like how to set the rates, knowing like what kind of things to
Mhm.
ask, or like how to get them
Yeah.
engaged in a unique way,
Mhm.
because you know if like a bunch of people are doing the same thing, then
Yeah.
like I need to have some sort of
Mhm.
original response to send out, so that
Yeah.
way it's not like the generic,
Absolutely.
what
Yeah.
everybody's sending.
And is that kind of the main reason I'm always curious as well as to why you're specifically looking to get, direct coaching help from Mason Ingham himself rather than just going through like Jumpstart and, free content on YouTube?
um I guess so. Yeah, I guess like the community
Hmm.
aspect of it and the support that your team has and the
Yeah.
resources, it just sounds like a great community that genuinely pushes each other
Yeah.
and helps lift each other up, and that's kind of how I am as like a person with my friends. And so
Hmm.
I, just think it would be a great community
Yeah.
to be a part of. And how even Mason said in some of the videos of like how you guys will help facilitate a conversation if you're not sure on something, or
Of course.
especially like starting out and like never doing something like this
Yeah.
before. I think that it would just alleviate my mind to be able to have those people to give me that
Hmm.
reassurance, if
No,
that makes sense.
100%. And I can obviously walk you through everything. Share my screen, share the ins and outs, how we help our
Mhm.
other students as well. Now, I'm not sure through like Jumpstart, a few of the videos, application.
Mhm.
The Inner Circle itself, as I mentioned, is one-on-one direct coaching, which I'll dive into like all the specifics, everything here in a second. Now, we
Okay.
do have many different options. The total cost of the Inner Circle would be 6K. Now, we have different ways to kind of break that down, make it pretty feasible, flexible for most students as well. But in terms of like the 6K, is that something you have set aside at the moment?
No.
No worries. We do have different options, as I mentioned. I didn't have the 6K initially either when I got started. But with where you're currently at, what would you say you do have set aside or working with just to break down the different options for you?
Um, I honestly like don't have any money to invest right now, if
Yeah.
I'm being completely
No,
honest, and that's just where I'm
for
at.
sure.
And that's,
Mhm.
yeah.
No, I mean that's completely fine as well. Now the last thing we want to do is put anybody in any sort of like weird, uncomfortable financial position either. Can I ask
Mhm.
like how much you have saved up like total? Can I ask?
Right now, none. Like
Okay.
that's why
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's completely fine. Because I was gonna say too, even if now's not the right time, as far as like kind of the 6K or different options, we break it up. Do you know the rough credit score you have off the top of your head?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you have a credit score? I guess.
No.
Okay, because I was gonna say we do have some like different monthly options there as well.
Okay.
Now, a lot of our students, what they do is they go through like the jumpstart initially as well. They land a client or two and then decide to join the inner circle as well because we have like different options, different ways to break it down. As far as
Mm,
like the monthly end, to make it pretty feasible, flexible for most students as well, which is always nice too because like the jumpstart, like a lot of our students have landed clients with that and then join the inner circle
mhm.
as far as kind of like the monthly things, which makes it pretty feasible, flexible for most, as it typically ranges between like 300 to 550 a month, give or take, like what you're specifically looking for. So a lot of our students do utilize that once they are able to land a client or two as well. However, with that being said, I know you did previously purchase Jumpstart, so I'm more than happy to answer like any questions or anything you have like top of mind as far as like what you've gone through with that thus far, as well as where
Mm.
you feel like you need the most help support from.
Yeah. So the Jumpstart package,
Mhm.
like how much is that?
So the jumpstart is you're already enrolled into that. The inner
Yeah.
circle itself is the 6K as I mentioned.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So is there's not like another way to like invest later, or like you just like it's like a subscription kind of thing, huh?
So you can invest later. It's not like we close out your application or anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's easy stuff. It's more so like a financing option that breaks it down as far as like the monthly end side of things. So we would have to see if we get you approved on it. But that's kind of like the way we break down like the monthly side of things. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah. But I mean, in terms of like what you've gone through so far with like Jumpstart, like what questions do you have as far as like the outreach, client acquisition side of things?
Yeah, I guess my first question was like, how do I get a client
Hmm.
slash show that I have experience or pretend I have experience without lying to them?
Yeah.
Um,
So a lot
yeah.
of our students, I'd say probably 97, 98% of students come into this not having done copywriting before.
Yeah.
So initially it's very helpful if you created like a little bit of like a landing page website, or you created some like sample copy portfolio to send over to that client to establish like the
Mhm.
authority and trust up front. As far as the outreach, are you doing those on Instagram? Are you sending emails or?
I'm doing both
Okay.
depending on the
Good
person.
stuff. Okay, I was gonna say that's definitely beneficial. Stick with like the Instagram DMs as well as the emails initially as well. So you're on
Mhm.
track there. And then that's kind of what I would say as far as like creating that authority and trust up front as far as like locking down that client too. Yeah.
Mhm. Um, yeah, because my second question was like, what do I put on the
Mhm.
website? Especially like if I don't have any clients
Yeah.
or experience yet.
Hmm. Give me like 10 minutes. I'll actually send you like a sample website or two from the community,
Okay.
so it gives you a little bit better sense as to like how to kind of structure it, what exactly to include in there as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, and then I guess my other question was, how do you maintain clients, or are you like continuously sending outreach messages while working with the clients you currently have?
So when you have a client, how to come up with like different ideas for like their emails and what you're sending out.
No, I guess like once you have a client and say
Yep.
they're like, this is what I want you to do for me, how do you um, continue working with them for like months on end, or,
Yeah. So to be
have
honest, it's more so like if you're delivering that client results, right? There's no
Mhm.
reason as to why that client would drop you, right? Because if you're
Right.
generating them more revenue, more,
Hmm.
excuse me, more cash throughout their business, right? There's no reason why they wouldn't stop paying you. So it's more so just like delivering quality work, like getting good results for that client. And I believe even obviously through some of the videos, like Mesa's worked with a few of his first ever clients since like 2020, 2021. So like
Okay.
as long as you are delivering those results, there's no reason as to why you would stop working with that client. No.
Okay.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and then I would guess yeah, the other thing I was gonna ask, which kind of I think you just answered, but like how do you continue increasing your income or your rates so
Hmm.
you don't have like a dry period or a
Yes.
crash in your growth?
Yep. So there's kind of two ways to do this. One of which is pretty self-explanatory: just get more clients, right?
Yeah.
The easiest side of things. The second way is say you're working with that client and you're writing like 3 emails a week for them. right? You can
Mm-hmm.
upsell that client. So you could, hey, I want to do your ads, or let's incorporate a
Mm-hmm.
newsletter or a blog, or anything else, so you can continue like stacking those services, which is what a lot of our students do. Or you can do like all the back end. Like some of the students we work with, they do like, they're basically like their social media partner or manager. So they do like
Mm-hmm.
all the back end systems, all the copy, and a lot of the times those deals range between like 10 to 30K a month per client. So you
Okay.
can just continue to keep like stacking services on top of that, rather than like just writing email or just writing ad scripts. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and another thing that I kept running into as well was like, what do you do about like the automated messages that some of the creators have like in their
Yep.
DMs?
Yep. So if you come across an automated message, just send like a conversational question, or
Mm-hmm.
like, just introduce yourself, or like just break past the AI. If you ask it like a question or a couple questions, it'll stop sending the AI. And then once somebody responds from that, it'll actually be like their setter or somebody in the DMs. Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
awesome. Let's see. I was just gonna ask. Yeah. Um, I guess I was gonna say like so like what would be like a next step for me if I
Hmm.
can't join Inner
Yep.
Circle right now?
I would say do consistent outreach. That's the
Um,
big thing, because a lot of people do outreach here. They'll stop for a week, do a little bit of outreach there. So I would say
mm,
stick very, very consistent with the outreach perspective side of things.
mm,
Obviously, follow up with the leads you already reached out to. I know you
mm.
got a few responses, so stay on top of those. Make those a huge priority for yourself. So that's kind of the biggest thing I would say for yourself. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
And I was gonna
Yeah.
say too, I will give me like 5-10 minutes here. I can send over some like additional videos, resources, everything along those lines as
Okay.
well. You have my direct line; it's not automated or anything, so you
Okay.
can text me, send me a voice note as to what works best, or you come across questions, whatever works. And
Okay.
then we can kind of stay in touch here throughout the next few weeks, month or two, kind of see where you're at, track everything as far as progress, and go from there.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. It was pleasure speaking. Hopefully
Amazing.
you have a, good rest of your Saturday here, I believe it is. And
Yeah.
we can connect here soon, Macy.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. We'll talk soon.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Yep.